What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Beautiful day here in Atlanta, Georgia, and we got more car parts. I don't even know who came today. I was at school all day, but a bunch of car parts showed up, and today is going to be a little install video on the MISHIMOTO Radiator, fan shroud, thermostat, and not hoses yet because I don't have a motor to put hoses on. So that's what today's video is going to be, and just want to let you guys know I got the motors out. All three of them are going to the machine shop. My other car's motor and then both of this car's motors are going to the machine shop and getting machined and bored out. So those will be done in I want to say like a week to a week and a half. And yeah, so without further ado, here's a MISHIMOTO Radiator install. Alright, so step one, if you have a motor, you're gonna go ahead and pretty much just remove your radiator. It's not hard. There's gonna be one coming well, you're gonna have to remove your air intake, and then there's gonna be one coming right here, and then there's gonna be a bottom one, which is gonna be a pain because it goes all the way around into here, which there's nothing here because this car doesn't have a motor. So and then once you get all those hoses off, you're gonna come under here to where the little cap is and pull this little hose off too. And then you're gonna go ahead and if you have a fan shroud, you're gonna go ahead and disconnect, like it's pretty obvious. You can pretty much see them, these little cords and stuff. And then there's one on the bottom down here, can't forget about that one. And then yeah, so once you have all those removed, leave this guy on. This is for AC, so you can just disconnect it right up here and right up here in this little hole right here. And then your actual radiator is going to come off by this, I believe, 10 millimeter, and then that 10 millimeter. And then it should just pull up and out of these little holes down here that it's just sitting in, and then should just pull right out. Alright, so here's what I've done so far. I've removed these two guys. They just sit down in these little holes right here, and like, well, not in it, but around this little hole right here. Then it has a little 10 millimeter bolt that goes right in there like that. And same for this side. Those are what the bolts look like. And then up here, you remove these two 10 millimeters, which actually connects the your little fill cap to right there. And don't forget to remove this hose off, and then to actually take it off this if you get a new hose. But if you don't get a new hose from like MISHIMOTO, then just leave that on there and you can just reuse it. So next step is going to be actually pulling the radiator out now. So I just pulled the radiator out. As you can see down here, it just sits in these little holes right down there, and then it just slides out. And make sure to leave this guy in, and then yeah, so the radiator's out. Alright, so once you got your radiator and fan shroud out off of right here, don't worry about the stock like fill port because the new one has one on there, but this little sensor here, you're gonna actually have to remove this little sensor and put it in the new one. And by the way, guys, disconnect your battery when you're removing this, so just in case it triggers any check engine lights, then you'll be fine. So remove this little guy and then go and put it on the new one. Alright guys, so once you go ahead and screw this little guy in right here, it doesn't really matter on the angle, it just needs to be tight. Then you're going to set your fan shroud on top of your radiator, the back side of the radiator. So these four holes line up right here, and then clearly the bottom ones match up with the bottom ones. Not rocket science, but that's how you're going to do that. And then just bolt it in. MISHIMOTO should come, it should come with some screws or bolts. Alright, well, it's dark outside now. Had to eat some dinner, but back to what we were doing. So once you have all four of these bolts in right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and make sure this guy is on the bottom one, right? Not this top one. Then make sure your drain port is like nice and screwed on tight. Make sure this guy's tight. Make sure everything's nice and tight, and then it's ready to go back in the car. Alright, so once you get the radiator actually set in place and in these little holes down here, right? They have little rubber gaskets around them. Then I like to leave it hooked and have some wiggle room for when I put this guy right here back in. I've already got the new hose on there, and I just got to put one more clamp on there, and then this should just pop right in, so I can wiggle the hose on easier while the radiator's still undone. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Alright guys, so got the nice radiator in here. This is going to be really hard to get over this little lip that it has on it, and so I use a pair of pliers and then a screwdriver to kind of like nudge it over. Pain in the butt, but you know, shed a little bit of blood doing it, kind of dangerous job. You know what they say, you're not working if you're not bleeding. Wait, shit, that's not true at all. Alright guys, radiator is done. Looks nice. These things will settle better when I get this crossbar in. And now for the thermostat. Thermostat's super simple, okay? 3 volts. That's all. Alright, so it just comes out just like that. You just pull it right out with those 3 and then set the new racing one in there. And I mean, I'm pretty sure there's not much of a difference. They just name it racing, but it's better quality though. It's like metal, and I think it's metal. No, it's actually plastic. Never mind. But yeah, better quality from MISHIMOTO. And yeah, so the only thing that I did forget to mention is don't forget to plug in these new cords down here for the fans, and then plug your little sensor in down there, a little wobbling one, and then you should be good to go. And this is gonna be a lot harder on a car with no motor, but it's the same idea. Like, you're only gonna have 2 different hoses that I didn't put on, one down here and then one right here. So this one, I mean, just do it the same way you took it off, and you shouldn't have any problems. But you are, if you're gonna do this, you are gonna have to take your bumper off. It's not really that hard of a task. There's like this bolt, and then like this bolt right here, and then there's a bunch of clips on the bottom side with 2 other bolts on either side, and then there should be 2 screws going right up into here, right? So that's how you take a bumper off in like 5 seconds of explaining, because my bumper's already off. But that's the way to install your MISHIMOTO radiator. Hope you guys liked it. Comment, subscribe, and I'll be back with the next video pretty soon once we get the motors back.